You're the one that gets to take responsibility of your life and say, these are the cards that I was dealt for the first part of my life, but from this episode onwards, I'm going to give myself new cards. And I'm not going to be the one that's in my own way. I'm going to be the one that's my own best friend. And I'm going to change the future because I changed myself.
I'm Luke, and you're listening to the Luke Mind Power Podcast.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? Hope you're doing amazing. Welcome to another episode on the Luke Mind Power Podcast. It's a blessing to be here with you all, and I hope that you're going to enjoy this episode. And in fact, I don't need to hope, I know. Big shout out to fruit because I've been looking at this fruit and I was eating it just before I started the podcast episode. And I remember making a video about strawberries, a punnet of strawberries about over a year ago when I was living in Sydney. And I was eating and I was like, okay, I can't eat all these because some of them have gone freaking off. So obviously it's been in the fridge for a couple of days and a couple of days too long. And this is so important. There's a massive analogy I'm going to share with you with this. So we're going to go straight into it, all right? But just quickly, guys, if you haven't got your tickets for our live event in Sydney, 4th of January, 2024, Unlock Your Greatness Conference, get your virtual access or live stream tickets as well if you can't make it to Sydney. But in-person VIP tickets are selling very, very quickly. So if you want to join us in person and get your VIP tickets as well for the after party, which is from 6 to 8 p.m. It is a full day conference from 9 p.m. to 4 p.m. as well. So you want to be prepared for, a day of massive transformation. You're not coming here to sit around and just like, I might go check this out. No, this is for people who are ready to transform and they want to surround themselves with fucking greatness. Okay. If that's you, then go to the link in the description below on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, and click the link and get your tickets. If you're all around the world or in the US or Europe or whatever, you can't make it to Australia, then get your live stream tickets, okay? Because they are available for you as well. No excuses, okay? You can either have reasons or results, not both. So choose wisely, okay? And this is an event that you're going to look back at as you keep moving on with your life, and you're going to remember that this is the event that changed your life. Now, let's move into this analogy of this fruit. Okay, so I'm going to share this fruit with you. You can see it in the screen there. You can see that there are there's some raspberries, there's some strawberries, there's blackberries, blueberries, and you can see that I think it's a raspberry that's really like starting to like get some fur around it. It's going off, Why am I showing you this? Okay, and you hear me talking about this all the time, but when I show you an example like this of fruit that is going off, what happens in this little plastic container is that eventually what happens is when one fruit starts to go off and stale or whatever, it then kind of multiplies to the other pieces of fruit. It's like a disease. They catch on to the shit, right? It's becoming shit. And the other strawberry or the blueberry or the blackberry is still fucking good to eat. But, the longer that you let the shit stay there, it then, multiplies and it's contagious. And the other fruit then start to take on the fur and the fucking whatever it is, the shit, right? What does this mean in our life? What it means is you become what you surround yourself with. You know what I was doing before I started the recording of this podcast? I was looking because I don't want to waste the fruit, right? Like I still want to eat the fucking fruit. It's been in the fridge. I paid for it, And so I'm looking at all of the fruit that isn't stale or that isn't shit. And I'm specifically picking out the fucking strawberry or the blueberry, and even some of the fruit, I was picking it out and I could already taste that it had been contaminated with the shit from the other fucking shit that's going stale, the fruit that's gone stale. How does this even relate on a like larger scale of awareness of not only you become who you surround yourself with, but who are the people that like, for just to help you understand, right? So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the fruit and I'm trying to be specific with which one I pick. And even what I pick, it's already been contaminated. It's already got the virus or the fur already, even though it looks good. You have to become aware of who it is that you're surrounding yourself with, the energy that you're receiving from people, but also who are they surrounding themselves with? Who are the people that you're connecting with that you think are good, but you don't know who they're hanging around with, and who they're hanging around with could be bad as well, which then comes and affects them, which affects you. So I was like literally like looking and going, oh no, I won't take that one because that one's too close to the fucking shit. And then I won't, oh, this one looks good, you know? So this kind of analogy is just the awareness of your life, who you surround yourself with, and who you surround yourself with, who they surround. And, you know, you think that like most of the time, if you're going to surround yourself with greatness or someone who is inspirational or positive, whatever, then they should be very particular as well with who they surround themselves with. But I'm just putting it out there, right? Because it also can have an impact on you as well. Because I'm here picking out one of the blueberries that's been hanging around with the strawberry, and the strawberry's fucking been hanging around with the raspberry, but the raspberry's fucking toxic, right? The raspberry's freaking shit. The raspberry's got white fur and shit fucking all over it. So, you know, I want the blueberry, but the blueberry's been hanging around with the strawberry, and the strawberry's been fucking hanging around with the raspberry, and the raspberry's fucking shit, which means that the strawberry's probably got shit in it, which means that the blueberry's next to the strawberry, and the strawberry is fucking contaminating the blueberry, and the blueberry is what I want to fucking eat. You understand what I'm fucking telling you? So be careful of who you hang around with, because you will be contaminated. And that is the challenge of your life, is how do you live? How do you hold yourself with high regard? How do you keep on that higher vibrational frequency? How do you stay powerful? How do you stay feeling amazing? Because who you surround yourself with is whom you become, because you feed off energy. Everything is energy, and you have to understand that. When you understand that everything is energy, you're going to understand who you surround yourself plays a big role on your transformation, your success, and your next level of life. I posted something on Instagram recently, and I wanted to share some responses to this because it's a very powerful quote, and it says, you meet your 18-year-old self. You are allowed to say 3 words. What do you say? And so many of you on all my on Facebook, Instagram, like heaps on Instagram, but even on Facebook, lots of comments on what you would say. So I want to read out some people's comments, because you know you're watching this wherever you are, on YouTube or Spotify, or listening on Apple, and I think this can be very relatable to everyone. Okay, just keep going. That's what I would say. That's what I would say to. I'm not going to say, oh, love yourself or believe in yourself. No. I'll just tell Luke, 18-year-old Luke, bro, just keep going. You're the one that gets to take responsibility of your life and say, these are the cards that I was dealt for the first part of my life. But from this episode onwards, I'm going to give myself new cards. And I'm not going to be the one that's in my own way. I'm going to be the one that's my own best friend. And I'm going to change the future because I changed myself. You know, take ownership for that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you change your life, because you realize that, wow, the past is the past. And that's why so people are unhappy with themselves and don't feel good about themselves, is because they're not healing their past and they're living in the past. And when you're living in the past, you're just living in your head. And as Tony Robbins says, when you stay in your head, you're dead. I'm just going to go through some comments right now. I would just tell myself, just keep going, because everything that I went through was part of what I needed to go through. I know what I deserve. And if you don't give me what I deserve, then I will kick you out of my life, because I know what I bring to the table. And if you don't bring the same or more, fuck off. See you later. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to sit here and feel guilty about it. I'm just going to protect my peace, protect my energy, because I know my worth. You know, and that can come across very egoistic or like, you know, chauvinistic or whatever, but I don't care. Whatever, man. Let it come across however the fuck you want it to come across. It's my fucking life. I'm the one that has to choose I'm very selective, who I surround myself with. So how that affects my energy and my success and where I'm going in the future is very important, just like you should. You should be very particular and picky with the people you surround yourself with, because you become them. You become the energy you surround yourself with. So don't fucking feel like you can't make the right decisions for yourself. So let me share with you some comments. Someone says, do what you want to do and don't listen to others. Believe in yourself. Stay at school. I'll counter that because I didn't like school, so I don't want to be there. And there was no support for like someone who was like me, that was like getting in trouble all the time, couldn't pay attention, had a short attention span, was stealing shit from people's bags. I wasn't good academically. It's like if I was in year 9, I probably should have been in I don't know. I'm like in Polish school. When I was in Polish school, Saturday school, my mum would take me to Saturday school, and I was in the lower class because I wasn't smart enough. So I think the school system is fucking shit and it's flawed. And then they will try to impose you with freaking their own like diagnosis of like what your problem is, which is so negative and bad for your mental health, because then they'll start telling you that you've got this and you've got that, and really you're just a fucking different kid. You're not like all the other fucking kids. You just got to find your way. You know what I mean? Like that's how the system has been set up. But, you know, as a parent, your responsibility as well when the kids come home to make sure that environment's a good environment for them. You know what I mean? So whatever the fuck happens at school, and that's why I know a lot of people actually doing homeschooling now, which I think is a fucking fantastic idea. You know, take your kids out of the fucking shit, because what they're teaching in their fucking schools is full of fucking corruption, and it's fucking evil shit, man. So if you can homeschool your kids, I would fucking encourage that, man, because that way you have more power and control over, you know, what you condition your kids and teach your kids, you know. Choose you always. Love yourself more. Respect yourself always. Love yourself totally. Fuck, everyone's saying love yourself. Believe in yourself. You are so much stronger than you ever imagined. Be your unique self. Yeah, in a world that tries to make you fit into like everyone, be your unique self. That's actually one of our speakers at our next event. Yeah, Louisa, in the house. Come on, man. Can't wait to get you up on stage. You're going to be amazing, man. People are going to freaking fall in love with you when they hear you on the stage. It's going to be incredible. She said, be your unique self. And that's a fight, to be your unique self, your authentic self. And that's not easy, because that requires you to speak your truth. That requires you to be louder than what you'd normally be. That requires you to express yourself, you know, not suppress and not dim your light and shrink yourself. Trust your gut. You are awesome. Enjoy the now. Trust God always. Love yourself. You are beautiful. Let yourself live. I love you. Yeah, I think I would have. I think I would have liked to have heard "I love you" as well. If I met my 18-year-old self, I would have told him I love him. I think that would have been that would have been something powerful. But at that age, self-love was just not even nowhere to be seen. And I remember a girl walking on the street, and she was holding a mirror, and I was like laughing at her, because I was like, look at her, she loves herself, not even realizing what I was saying. Put yourself first. Wow, that's a big one. That was probably one of the hardest things to do, was to put myself first, you know. Yeah, because you know, you can be called selfish, you know, or you just think about yourself, right? But I've learned, man, that, you know, when you really take care of yourself, like, you can help so many more other people. And especially the hardest thing, I think, is being a parent and you've got kids and you want them to live their best life. So you're basically sacrificing yourself for the kids. So if you're able to kind of turn that around and like balance your life or your routine in a way where you can actually pour into yourself. And I went through this with my sister. Funny enough, I actually shared this meditation on our group coaching session the other night, of Lucy. I did an episode with her earlier when I started the podcast. Her name's Purely Being Guided Meditations on Spotify. And she was one of the tools that I was using when I was helping my sister to heal from her anxiety and panic attacks and get off the off the anxiety medication that she was on. And so I played that for our, you know, clients, and I knew, because my sister was there at the she's part of she's in my team. She's a client success manager, and she's sitting there. And as soon as I pressed the play, I said, everybody, we're doing a meditation now. And so I pressed play, and I knew it, because as soon as I pressed play on that meditation, I knew that my sister was the only one that's heard of her, and that when she heard her voice, it was going to take her back to 2020 when I came back from China and I helped my sister to heal. The reason why I'm sharing this story just quickly is because she wasn't putting herself first. She was putting her kids and her husband first. You know, and she's got a beautiful life, a beautiful house, swimming pool, you know, like everything you've ever wanted. But she still was going through anxiety, panic attacks. Like, what the hell? When I heard that, I said, okay, I'm coming back from China. I'm going to help you to heal. And so that was one of the things I would play would be that guided meditation. But the lesson there was put yourself first, because basically what was happening to her is she was depleted, drained, and the energy was gone. What's anxiety anyway? Your body's having some sort of reaction to something. Your body is communicating to you something is not right. You are your own best doctor. Pay attention to how your body talks to you by the way you feel and what happens. So that was huge because I realized that she was overexerting herself. She was giving so much to her kids and the house and her husband that she forgot to take care of herself. And that's why I invite you to put yourself first. And somebody just wrote it there. Put yourself first, because your kids will benefit from it. If you're in a marriage or relationships, your partner will benefit from it because you are the best version of yourself. And when you're the best, you give the best. And I know that it's a juggling act because it's a big responsibility to have children. I've grown up with my 3 older sisters and I've lived with all of them in all their houses. And there's 10 kids between all of them. And so I've witnessed what it's like to be a parent. I'm the uncle that was carrying around all the kids to make them go to sleep, like holding them. I was walking around freaking rocking them to sleep and shit. I may not have kids myself, but I have a lot of experience in that. To witness that happen to my sister and then to help her to heal. If you're listening to this, this is a godsend for you. You're listening to this episode. This is a reminder for you to put yourself first and try. And it only happens in small steps. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't happen straight away. It's the small steps, because it's the challenge for most of us is we're programmed and conditioned to be a specific way, and we have a paradigm that's very strong. And a paradigm is just a group of habits that you have within your subconscious mind that you do unconsciously, and you just do them like fucking all the time. And you don't even have to think about it, right? So the challenge of your transformation and your next level is that you've got to reprogram yourself in doing things differently. That is the challenge for most people, because in creating a new habit, it's very easy for you to start to try to make positive change, but then after a couple of weeks, you drop off. If you don't have accountability, if you don't have a community, if you don't have the right environment that's going to support you and push you forward, you'll fall off. Like I remember going to gymnastics when I was a kid, and there was a balancing beam, and you used to like walk across it. And so this is the awareness of how do you make that positive change. You need the right environment, man. You need the right community. You need a coach. You need to invest in yourself. You need something that's going to help you to stay accountable. Putting yourself first. And again, it's how much do you want it? You have to want it. I'm not going to sit here and try to force you to work with me, for example, and go, hey man, like we've got an amazing community. We've got a program, you can join us and this and that. You have to want it. Like I can't like force you to do shit. You have to be in a place in your life where you're just like, enough's enough, man. Like nothing's changing. Like things are not getting better. Many of us are living in like a very ignorant state of, things will get better eventually. But we're not making any positive change. We're not doing anything. We're not investing in ourselves. And this is the thing that you want to pay attention to, because so many of us do this. We're just like, it'll get better. Like we're wishing and hoping and praying that it's going to get better. But things don't get better by chance. They get better by change, which requires action. It's intentional. Like I'm ready for change. You got to be ready for it, and you've got to be hurting enough. And that's why the pain is actually a motivator. The pain is uncomfortable of where you are right now, because you have to sit in that pain sometimes for quite an extensive amount of time to feel the pain enough for you to get into action. It's like getting sick, for example, all of a sudden you get really sick and you go, oh my goodness, I better take more care of myself, or I better, treat myself better, or I better exercise more. I better stop doing this. You know what I mean? Like you can be, someone gets cancer, they're a heavy smoker, you smoke here and there, and you're like, oh my God, I'm inspired by that person not being very healthy because they do that. And so I'm not going to do it anymore because I don't want to get sick. Whatever the circumstance, it's always like something has to happen to trigger you to take action, And it's like, but that's just a human condition, man. We're not perfect, bro. This is what happens, but something goes wrong. And then your alertness is like, oh shit, I better look after myself better. So unfortunately, that's how it is. But I hope that with this episode or with this podcast, that it inspires you before shit goes too bad. That you're inspired. Like, for example, you don't need to be in a really bad way or a bad place or a bad state for the next 2 years and listen to this podcast to get to that point of like, okay, now I'm ready to grow. Now I'm ready to take action. Now I'm ready to message Luke and go, hey, Luke, like I've been listening to your podcast for 2 years. Like, what have you got available? How can I work with you or your team? Because that can be the case. But I hope that as you continue to listen to this podcast, that, you're either inspired to make positive change for yourself, or you're like, you know what, I don't want to wait another 12 months. I'm just going to like, I don't want to have to keep learning these lessons. Because your self-awareness is so crucial. Your awareness to red flags, your awareness to toxic behavior, your awareness to how you deserve to or how you want to be treated. Like pay attention to the energy you give versus the energy that you receive. Because what you put out comes back. And if you're not receiving, and if there's no reciprocation of like the appreciation, the love that you give, many of us, we're over delivering. We're giving so much of ourselves, but we're not receiving in return. And so if that's happening in your life, and it can be in relation, everything is relationships. Remember that. When I say relationship, it can be your workplace, it can be your partner, it can be your friend, it can be your parents. If it's a one-sided affair, well, you're going to be drained, depleted, unhappy. And so important to have the confidence in yourself to become aware, self-awareness of like, oh, wow, this is actually happening over time and it's causing me to feel like shit and I don't want it to happen anymore. How do I stop it? Well, I have to communicate. I have to take some sort of action in order for this to not happen anymore, or for someone to become aware that I'm not going to tolerate this bullshit, or I'm not going to allow this in my life anymore. And if it keeps happening, guess what? I'm going to get the fuck out. That's the most important thing. Keep your boundaries. I wouldn't even know what boundaries were when I was 18. But I know like now, like kids growing up, shit, man, I got access to social media that I didn't have 20 years ago, or when I was a teenager, you know what I mean? So like the kids are learning so much more, someone said, don't marry her, don't get married. You know what I mean? So this is like, if you look at these kind of comments, like don't get married, like think about what kind of like relationship or what kind of experience that person has gone through for them to say, don't get married. Like, being in a relationship and being in love and building a family and like having the right person in your life is like a miracle. It's beautiful, So for someone to say, don't get married, fuck, man, imagine like what kind of pain they have endured. Which is really sad, because you go through so much adversity and trauma and such a negative experiences because of whatever the circumstances were, or whatever that person has inflicted on this person, to make them feel so angry and upset and to be completely against being in a relationship with anyone. But I can appreciate it. You know what I mean? It's what you go through that, like for me, 4 years, no relationships. And so I was just like closed. I was like, no more. I want to build a relationship with myself. I want to get to know me. So this is what happens when I took the time to spend more time with me, build a stronger, loving relationship with myself, build my confidence. And now look what I'm doing. I'm living my dreams. I'm living in alignment with my true authenticity. I'm going in the right direction. I'm in my flow state. I'm in my power. This is the challenge for most of us, is that, it does require some sort of sacrifice. But I realize that, yeah, I'm hurting because of those experiences, which kind of close the door on relationships. So I'm going to spend more time with me, But again, there's always a price, there's always a price, when you get to this kind of level of like, I'm in my purpose, I'm in alignment, I'm going in the right direction, it still comes with a lot of sacrifices. It still comes with, okay, I can't do that. I don't have time for this. I'm not worried about this. Because, well, it's for me anyway, because I know like my purpose is so freaking like grand that it does require for me to sacrifice. It does require for me to like really be tight with my time and my schedule and everything that I do, but for everyone it's different, and you have to figure that out for yourself, Not a damn thing. 18-year-old me needs to learn for herself. Wow, that's a good one. When people say to me, like, what's your qualification? It's like, man, life. Like, I'm self-educated. I've been through shit people have never been through. You can't go to university and learn what I've fucking been through. Like, that's extraordinary. And that's the same thing with you. No one's been through what you've been through. No one has felt. There's no university fucking course or degree that you can get that can make you feel trauma. There's no university degree or experience that you can go to learn how to feel fucked up, how to feel abused, how to feel traumatized, how to feel hurt. And you're saying, oh, what are your qualifications? Fucking life. But as you do that, you go on this journey not only of healing, of like self-creation, self-discovery, discovering like who you truly are, because all the negative shit and the trauma, that suppresses, it's like really suppressed negative energy. It's not healthy, right? Which also doesn't build confidence in yourself. But I know that it can be used as a kind of like defense mechanism or, for your success as well, because some people have become very successful because of all of their trauma, because it's like you want to become successful because you've been so hurt. And so becoming successful comes with validation. It comes with like, oh, look at you, you're amazing. So people are like gravitating towards you and you're getting a lot of recognition, which kind of suppresses the trauma, So you don't think about it too much because you're always focusing on the success, on your business, on your next level, and you're getting a lot of external validation all the time, which makes you feel good about yourself because you're like, I'm enough, I'm worthy. But deep down, you're hurt, And I know this because I've worked with people that have become very successful and they haven't worked on their trauma, And that's why I say, like, if you're successful and you haven't worked on your pain and your past, man, you'll become even more successful when you do heal, because you realize that you're still limited, right? And you're doing it for the wrong reasons as well, because we don't need external validation. When you're doing things that's in alignment with you and you're living in your fucking purpose and you're living because you're living in your flow, your authenticity, you're not doing it for any other reason other than it's just who you are. Not because I'm fucking hurt and I'm like, I feel not good enough. So how do I make myself feel good enough? Well, because I get a lot of comments on YouTube. And so because I read your comments, I'm enough. Bullshit. I'm enough because I say I'm enough. I'm enough because I feel enough within myself, because I have a loving relationship with myself, not because I post content and then people see my content and they give me validation and credit and I get this boost of like dopamine of like, oh my gosh, wow. I'm so glad that I went on YouTube. I'm so glad that I went on TikTok and Instagram and I looked at my freaking posts and I've got all these comments and likes and all this stuff. And oh my gosh, I'm so blessed because now I feel enough. That's the thing, like that a lot of us are lost in this external world of validation. It's like, bro, know yourself. When you know yourself, when you love yourself, you don't thrive off that. It's just a byproduct of who you are. That's what you become when you heal. You become light, you become powerful, you become confident, you become your true authentic self. You start speaking your truth more, and that's why it's uncomfortable for family members or friends that you've known for a long time or whatever, people that are used to who you are. When you start speaking your truth and being authentic, it's uncomfortable because they've never seen you like that. And most people, they just want you to stay the same because that's what they're comfortable with, that version of you. And that's why I say that, you don't have to worry about losing friends. It's just you have to focus on your growth, because as you grow, you'll never lose the right people. The wrong people, they'll just drop off. Like you don't even have to think, oh, but how do I let this person go? You don't even have to let them go. You will just keep growing and realizing that, oh my gosh, I don't have time for this person anymore. Oh, I've got more important things to focus on. And then slowly, you just, the friendship dissipates. And you might feel a little bit guilty for it at the start, but you then know that you have to keep moving forward, because if you're not growing with me, then I have to let you go. The thing is, you're not going to lower yourself to go, okay, well, this person's not growing with me, so I'm not going to grow. It's like, no, your purpose and your responsibility is to evolve from the shit that's not helping you grow. And don't feel, and I can't say don't feel guilty, because you will. And one of my clients, Gudrun from Iceland, she said that, when you feel guilty for doing what's right for you, that means you're growing. And I love that, because it's the truth. You do. In this journey of transformation, you do feel guilty. It's just part of the process, man. But become aware of it, because when you become aware that you're feeling guilty, it's beautiful, because you're like, I'm growing. It's positive. And then just, come back and ask yourself the question, if I love myself enough, am I doing the right thing for me? And there you'll find the answer straight away. I think that's a good post. It's a good post. Heaps of people saying, Heaps of people saying stuff about what they would say to their 18-year-old self. And we'll finish up with this quote. It says, removing yourself from things that repeatedly trigger your mental health and hurt your heart is top tier self-care. So it's always going back to, your relationships and people that you surround yourself with, and an environment that could be negative or whatever. But for example, my mum has been, and you've heard me talk about my mum a lot, but when I was living with her before I started the Superpower Mastermind, my program, or started my whole coaching business for that matter, I was being triggered, and that's why when I go back to the episode with Peter Crone, which is really amazing because he changed my point of view as well on being triggered. And it wasn't like I explained to him a situation that I said that, my brother-in-law triggered me. And then he's like, no, your brother-in-law didn't trigger you. You triggered yourself because of the noise that your brother-in-law made, So that was really interesting because when I used to say, like, my mum triggers me, and it's like, no, she's saying something to you that is resembling some sort of memory or negative experience that you were hurt by in the past, which now, because of her words and the sound that comes out, is very familiar to what you went through in the past. And so your body's having this fight or flight reaction. I faced the uncomfortable experiences of confronting my mother and having uncomfortable conversations about what she was saying to me that I was reacting to. So I played my part in my healing by addressing these moments that I had where I got triggered, where I was triggering myself because of my unhealed wounds and my insecurities and the lack of self-worth that I was holding within myself at the time to address, So, but there's a big lesson here with these triggers, because what I learned anyway is that now that I'm in such a higher vibrational frequency of self-awareness and self-love and self-confidence, self-worth, I have nothing to prove to anyone, So when I see my family, or when, somebody, and it's not to say that I'll never be triggered again, because it still happens, and there's always something that comes up. I don't believe that you'll ever heal completely. I believe that your journey is ongoing. And this is just breaking the hearts for everyone who's like, when I'm healed, I'll get a relationship. It's like, you're never going to be healed. It's just life. There's always going to be something that someone's going to say that's going to cause you to react, that you're not going to, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I thought I worked on that already. It's like, no, you still got work to do. Pay attention, and so what do? Do you keep facing or trying to communicate to that person who's caused you to react or to go through that? But for example, with my family, because of who I've become, and I've been relentless with my growth and success and what I do, they see who I am. They have a lot more respect for who I am and what I do. And so, but there's still banter that goes on and stuff like that, but it's not it's not detrimental to my mental health. You know what I mean? But I'm still very careful, who I hang around with, who I surround myself with. And if you're in an environment, for example, where you've addressed stuff at work, for example, and someone keeps talking to you in a specific way, or you're being triggered, it could be also a sign from the universe or from God or whatever your higher power is, to say that, this is not a good environment for you. It's not to say that let other people have the power for you to make decisions to remove yourself, but sometimes things are happening on purpose. It's teaching you something. It's for you to face the music. It's for you to. It could be you could be in a loving or a negative relationship, for example, and you're being triggered all the time. And until you take action, until you face the music, until you speak up, until you try to communicate, it's just going to keep happening. You know what I mean? So in my transformation and my healing and my growth, I had to face a lot of uncomfortable conversations. Like now, for example, when I talk to my mum, for example, there's so much peace because I don't need to prove to her what I'm doing, or convince her that if I'm doing the right thing, or convince her that my way is the right way. There's only love there, and I love that she is religious and she loves Jesus and she's so devoted to her faith. It's beautiful, it's amazing how I can feel when that was my biggest trigger all my life. She was always trying to take me to church and pray and this and that, and I know that I'm very powerful because of her prayers. She prays for me all the time, which is beautiful. I receive it, but yet I'm not religious. You know what I mean? Which I think is kind of interesting, because it's almost like, how can you not be, a man of that faith and religious when you were raised in that kind of like environment? I'm like, I know, but I'm for the people. I speak with a universal tongue so I can speak to everybody's soul, not so I'm dividing people because I am from this religion. And if you're not in this religion, then you're not the same, or you're not good enough, or you can't be accepted. You know what I mean? That's the difference between who I am, versus me saying that this is the only way, this is the right way, right? I have such an open mind, and this is where unconditional love comes in, because when you come from a place of unconditional love, there's no boundaries, right? It's just love, and love is unconditional for everyone. My voice and my channel and my energy and what I project is for everyone, and I despise anything that causes people to be divided. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to spread good energy, help you become aware, help you to realize that the power of self-love is really powerful, and it's important to have a loving relationship with yourself and to help you build confidence, but not to divide you and tell you that, no, this is the wrong way. And this is, it's up to you to figure that out for yourself and gravitate towards what makes sense for you. But there's so much peace there now, because like, I don't try to convince my family. I don't try to convince my mum. I don't try to convince anyone that I'm right. And that's the thing. You find so much more peace, because it's just like, if that makes sense for you, yes. It's like, fucking oath. Good on you. Read the fucking Quran, read the Bible, read the fucking Bhagavad Gita. Like, read these books, man. Like, they're powerful. They got a lot of wisdom and knowledge and shit, man. I'm happy for you. It's very prominent in many households that you basically just follow what you've been indoctrinated with, and you follow how you were raised and what you were taught, and it's like, is that who, and I said this on a previous episode, is that really who you are? And that's why this journey of self-discovery and practicing a bit of solitude and spending a little bit more time with yourself, so you can quiet the noise from the world and just be with yourself and figure out who you are. But it's very hard to be with yourself when you've got a lot of mental chatter, when you've got a lot of insecurities, when you've got a lot of trauma and pain and negative experiences. Because what happens when you are quiet? If you're not peaceful within yourself, what happens when you go and try to do something like this, and you're like, okay, I'm going to try and heal. I'm going to try and spend some more time with myself. And then like, listen for the next 10 seconds, how quiet it is. So the only thing that you're going to hear, it's your mind. You want to have peace of mind, mental clarity. Like, this is huge. This is a breakthrough right now. This is like a huge light bulb moment going on. Boom. Because when you have peace of mind and you have mental clarity, wow, it's amazing. Because you can think. You can think about the future. You can think about like who you want to become. You can process shit better. You can make really sound decisions and better decisions for yourself. This is why I keep telling you, like, self-love is so important to heal your past, because if you don't love yourself, you won't heal yourself, because you don't love yourself enough to do it. When you build a stronger, loving relationship with yourself, you will do whatever the fuck it takes, because you got your own back. You're like, nah, man, I know it's been hard, but man, I love me too much to want to keep living this way, living in the past, and letting my mind, which is constantly overthinking the things that happened, which is draining your energy, because thoughts are energy. And so that is such a like repetitive, like constantly recycling the same shit over and over. And then that's why it's uncomfortable for many people who have not like built a relationship with themselves or spent enough time within themselves, that, they can't be alone. They have to be around people. They have to be around like or, whether it's family, friends, relationships, whatever. Some people just in relationships just because it's convenient, because it's just there. It's good. I don't want to be alone, because being alone means fucking thinking. You're with yourself. You're with your own head. You're with your memories. You're with the past. So peace of mind is fucking worth it, man. It's worth fighting for. It's worth investing in yourself. It's worth doing the work. It's worth healing, because it's a beautiful state of mind to live in. And that is where you do then cultivate, inner peace, but you transform so much because you're able to think, you're able to make amazing decisions, and you feel good. If you have mental clarity, you feel good. And when you feel good, you want to do stuff. You want to get out there and live your dreams. You're excited to get out there. It's beautiful. But if you have a toxic mind, if your mind is full of negative thinking and pain and bad memories, that is energy which is causing your body, right? It then goes into your body, because when you think negative, you feel bad. So if you feel bad, it's not a good state. You're not going to be wanting, you're not going to be motivated or inspired, to come on. You feel me? Anyway, love you guys. It's been great to spend some time with you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's such a blessing to spend more time with you. I hope that you keep pushing forward, never give up, and make sure you get your tickets to the live event on Unlock Your Greatness, January the 4th, 2024 in Sydney. Unlock Your Greatness Conference. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And if you are coming in person, make sure you get your VIP tickets so that you can join us for the after party, because we're going to have an amazing artist, Kala. I met him in Chicago, 2019, right after I did a few open mics in Chicago when I was getting up in front of people and I was speaking. I then went to another open mic, which was the same, but it was in a different location. And then I was the first time, because I was inspired, I was like, all right, people are rapping. I love rap music. And I was like, okay, I've spoken a few times now. People are getting up there, they're rapping, they're comedian, they're doing their comic shows or whatever, singing. I'm like, well, if they can sing, and that's why I'm saying your environment is everything. So I'm at these open mics and I'm like, well, if they can sing, what about me? Why can't I sing? Why can't I rap? So I was inspired by all these people in these open mics that I was going to get up on stage and rap. And so that was the first night that I was going to do my rap. And I was sitting on the left-hand side of the stage, and I'm listening to this dude talk, and he's speaking. He's got an Aussie accent, Australian accent. And then we just started talking, because I was like, oh, bro, you're Australian, So I met Kala in 2019 in Chicago, and he's just released a new single, which is called Friends. So if you go on Spotify and find his name, it's Callaa. He's got a new single. It's called Friends. It's amazing. He's going to be at the event as well, performing live at the Unlock Your Greatness conference in Sydney. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm pumped. I'm excited. Of course, DJ Danilo is going to be there, which is going to be amazing. So it's going to be, as you can appreciate, what I do. It's going to be very high energy. And so, like I said, man, if you're ready to transform your life and you want to start 2024 in the most extraordinary way possible, then you want to make sure that you're at this event. And most importantly, guys, for everybody who can't make it to Australia, get the live stream tickets. Okay, there's virtual live stream access that's available, and the event it's a full day event. Okay, so you just prepare yourself that I'm going to this event. If it's virtual, you're on Zoom, and it's going to transform your life. So the link is in the description below for tickets. Anyway, guys, I love you. I'll see you guys soon. Never give up, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace out. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and growth. If you're ready to grow and reach your full potential and find inner peace, send me a DM that says, I want inner peace, and I'll send you the next steps. You can accomplish anything you set your mind to. When you change your mind, you change your whole life. So don't hesitate and send that DM over to me. Myself and my team can't wait to meet you and witness your transformation in full glory. See you next week.